Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. It is a happy hump day Wednesday. And like I said yesterday, today is our review of two episodes of Get Smart from season 2, episodes 3 and 4, and from the greatest TV series, in my honest opinion, the A Team. And I got season 4, episode 19, and episode 20 going for today for the review. And as I always do, between Get Smart and when I get A Team started, I'll do that famous monologue here. Here it is from the great John Ashley, who was the narrator up until episode 5 or season 5. And then I think he walked away after that. They only had intro, then do his thing. Yeah, that's when, and we're going to talk about that because I really missed his monologues every time that he did it up until the very end of season 4, and I'll believe in the IMDb. I hope they mention it, but they'll mention that he didn't do it anymore after that. So, and I'll follow that procedure myself. I won't say it when we get into the season 5 episodes. Also, in the next few weeks from now, as soon as I get caught up to season 5, those 3 episodes that start what is officially called the trial of the A Team, but it has 3 different episode titles in it. I will do one live stream, just a panel of myself and Jay Aldridge, and we're going to talk about those 3 episodes and what led to eventually the demise of the series, which is very depressing. But anyway, that'll be later. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. Let's see. We don't have anybody yet, but we're still early. Usually Wednesdays are slow. I've also seen Tuesdays slow as well. But as you know, we had a civic holiday for Canada on Monday, so that's why I had to move these up one day. Next week, they'll be back on their regularly scheduled time at 12 noon, Mondays with Red Dwarf and TOS, 2 episodes of each now. That's what we're going to do so we can get caught up. Try to finish all 4 of these shows reviews before the end of the year, and then we'll get into mysteries after that. Those will be live streams all the time. That'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun. But we'll pick and choose what dates we'll do those and the panels for those. So that should be fun too. All right, and then Tuesday, like I said, we'll go back to regular time for Tuesday, 12 noon, where we do the 2 episodes of Get Smart and the 2 episodes of A Team. So I think that pretty much covers everything there. So, well, let's get started. First of all, I want to say hello to my beautiful wife. She has an appointment, so say prayers, everybody, for August 22nd. She's going to go in, find out the information on her knees. Her shoulder, though, with tendonitis can't be fixed. Sorry to say. But she will find out if we can do anything for her knees, since they have no cartilage left in them. And so I'm a little all emotional about that, and also because we want to get that problem fixed before I go into anything for myself. For now I just have type 2 diabetes, but I'm trying to handle it. I'm trying to control it, trying to work on it. By the way, Gorilla, I hope you're having fun with your brand new girlfriend Kayla. I hope you guys have a good day today, and Gorilla, when you get home safe, okay? Please. It would mean a lot to us. Okay. All right, so let's get smart first. Okay. Got to get to the top here. Get to the top. One way to the top before we rock and roll, as they like to quote from AC/DC. Okay. Yeah. Now, also, I did promise for Get Smart and A Team, I will do their respective movies, the reboot movies they did. 2008, it was Steve Carell, Anne Hathaway as Maxwell Smart and Agent 99, Alan Arkin as Chief, and then you had Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson who came in as an agent. So, yeah, that'll be that. And then in 2010, for the reboot of the A Team, the movie for that, when we get to after we pass the final uh, episode of the series, we will do for one day. We'll do the review of the 2010 reboot, which featured Liam Neeson as Hannibal Smith, Bradley Cooper as Faceman Peck, um, Shalto Copley as Howling Man Murdoch, and Quentin Rampage Jackson as BA. And then, of course, that movie did feature two cameo appearances. Dwight Schultz, who played the original Murdoch, uh, plays a doctor in this, and Faceman shows up. He's in prison, but it's him, and he shows up as himself. Played, that was Dirk Benedict who played the original. So, yeah, very cool. So we will do those movies too. Promise to do that. All right, so let's Get Smart first. The series, which of course featured Don Adams as Maxwell Smart, uh, Barbara Filden as Agent 99, and of course Edward Platt as Chief. And then it did also offer the dog, Max the dog, and then you had Dick Gautier as Jaime, who appeared sometimes. So very cool. All right. Jaime the Robot, by the way. And this, I should probably quote also. This series did win 7 Primetime Emmys. So it was a very, very popular show for mocking the spy genre. Yeah, it was very good. I enjoyed them. I love the episodes. Whenever I get a chance, I always like to watch the Claw one. The Claw. He says the Claw, and he says, no, the Claw. Yeah. Okay, so the top rated episode, according to IMDb's background information, and which got an 8.7 out of 10, and tell you what, I'll put it over the top and give you a straight up A, because I think it was hilarious. This premiered on Saturday, October 1st, 1966. Still about only a year old myself, year and a few months, year and a month actually. Um, Both sides, it's called Spy for a Spy from season 2, episode 3. Both sides are kidnapping agents at such a rate that almost no one is left on either side. And like I said, it got an 8.7 out of 10 from 289 people that have watched the episode. So yeah, I give it a straight up A. I thought it was hilarious. And then season 2, episode 4 is called The Only Way to Die, which came up the following Saturday, October 8th, 1966. And in this, Max is listed as dead so he can complete a mission. And that got a 7.9 out of 10. So that's a B for me, yeah. So 204 people. So the first one got an A, the second one got a B. Yep, there we go. Okay, so let's take a look at the first episode here. We're examining today. All right. The director was Bruce Bilson. And besides the writers Mel Brooks and Buck Henry, Mike Marmer was the other writer of this episode. Okay, and then the usual cast of characters I mentioned. But we are going to look at Stacy Keach Sr. He played Carlson. You didn't put the senior in there. Obviously, you put in Stacy Keach. Now, you do know Stacy Keach had a son, Junior, and then he just took away his junior, so he did that. And then Pitt Herbert was Standish. So there was Carlson and Standish. Yeah, so we're going to look at those two. Oh, and yes, we'll look at one more. Mr. Bernie Coppell as Siegfried. We don't shush here. That's one of my favorite lines from the series. Okay, so yeah, we're going to take a look at the one and only time here, Bernie Coppell, for Siegfried. Remember, Bernie Coppell was also in The Love Boat. He played the medical purser in that series. So, and then he came back. You know what was great about Bernie Coppell? One of the few members that came back when they did the new Get Smart, with Andy Dick playing, Maxwell Smart and Agent 99's kid. And then they had that blonde chick that was in it. Because we are going to do those 6 episodes as well, as reviews. But in one episode, both Bernie Coppell came back, and the actor who played Starker came back. So that was very cool. That was a nice homage to the original series. And of course, it didn't mean anything because, 6 episodes on Fox, and then it said pull the plug, literally. But yeah, I mean, every time that Bernie Coppell came on screen for Get Smart, it was hilarious. It was. I mean, like every time. So yeah, I'm glad to see Bernie Coppell in this one. And yeah, we'll talk about him real briefly, his mini bio. So okay, so let's get to trivia first. And let's see if anybody's walked into the chat here first. Oh yes, Roger Blair. Hello, sir. Welcome, welcome. This is howdy, Mikey. Uh yeah, Jessica Biel. Yes, she was from this from the military. Yeah. Yep, she was in the 18 movie as well. She was great. Yeah, I think she was Bradley Cooper's love interest in that one, right? Yeah. Face Man had him, He had the women. And hello, good afternoon. Gorilla's Random Thoughts Kapla. Gorilla, welcome. Hey, buddy, I thought you were enjoying your time with Kayla. You didn't have to come in here, buddy. I appreciate that, though. Wow, thank you so much. And no, hello, Kayla, too. Yeah, I'm glad you're safe, Gorilla. Kapla to you as well. And your house. Hail and well met, as our brother Curtis likes to say. Yeah. Oh, you're delusional. It's not afternoon yet. Well, Gorilla, since you are the center of the universe, according to what I'm seeing here, it's 11:12 a.m. in the morning for you still. So yeah, you're in the morning, but I'm in the afternoon. Yeah. I know you're kidding. I know. But hey, I hope you are enjoying your time, you and Kayla together, okay? Yeah, we're pulling for you kids. Yeah, you're just a kid. I'm an old man. Come on, Gorilla. You enjoy life. Continue to enjoy life. You kids deserve it. Yeah. Yeah, it's 12:12 here, yep. In Eastern Kentucky. That's right, Roger Blair. Yeah. In Kentucky, Wildcats have got some afternoon shindigs happening. Yeah. All the time. Well, it's good to see you too, Roger Blair. Yeah. Really, honestly, I gotta send hearts to you guys' ways. Thank you so much. And that comes from Suzanne too. Oh, is everyone here delusional? Yeah, we're all mental, Gorilla. Come on, you know this already. Come on. You know this already. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the trivia for A Spy for a Spy. Okay. All right, this episode marks the first appearance of Siegfried, Bernie Coppell, although it is spelled Siegfried. But he would appear a total of 14 times in the last 4 seasons. That's awesome. Leonard Stern came up with Siegfried's catchphrase, "We don't poop here," on the set. And the title is from the biblical reference, an eye for an eye. All right. Siegfried also says, "Leave the spine to us," is a reference to the advertising slogan of the time for Greyhound bus lines. Take the bus and leave the driving to us. All right. At around the 10-minute and 30-second mark, as Max and Siegfried are removing the cache of weapons each is carrying, Max pulls out his XKE 500 pistol. Impressed, Siegfried asks if it is a control issue. Max states that it isn't. Got it from a mail order house in Chicago. This may be a reference to the John F. Kennedy takeout, which was still a popular topic at the time. The Warren Commission report stated that accused, shooter man Lee Harvey Oswald bought the alleged murder weapon, a Mannlicher Carcano rifle, by mail from Klein's Sporting Goods in Chicago. Well, that was kind of a lame reference, right? But people laughed at it because obviously, 3 years before we lost a great president. So, yeah. So they were trying to make some humor of that, which I don't fault them for. I don't. But it was probably, but today, if you'd seen it like that, it would have been in poor taste. I agree. Okay. And then for goofs, there is just continuity goof. After Max borrows 99's earring to view the secret message on the birthday cake, he hands it back to her, and then she puts it back on her ear. When Siegfried appears, everyone in the audience applauds except for 99, who is holding her earring and puts it on for the second time. Well, that doesn't seem like much of continuity, really. So, yeah, a little lame information there. Okay, no quotes. Let's see here. All right. So let's see. No soundtrack. We'll look at filming and production. Alrighty. And of course, again, every episode done here for Get Smart, unless it's outdoors beyond the studio, is Paramount Studios there in Hollywood, Los Angeles. So very cool. Okay. All right. And let's take a look at the three people we're going to take a look here for their mini bios. All right. So first is Stacy Keach Sr., and then Pitt Herbert, and then Bernie Cobell. So let's take a look at Stacy. All right. And Stacy Keach did lose his father back in 2003. He was an actor, director, and he worked on additional crew. He was born May 29th, 1914, in Chicago, Illinois. He was an actor and director known for Pet Sematary in 1989, The Parallax View in 1974. That's a great film. And Pretty Woman in 1990. He was married to Mary Kane Peckham, and he died on February 13, 2003, in Burbank, California. He was 88 years old. Okay, in Pet Sematary, he worked on additional crew in 1989. In Pretty Woman in 1990, that one with Richard Gere and Julia Roberts, he played a character called Senator Adams in that. In the Parallax View, he was commission spokesman number 1 in 1974, and he was in Armed and Dangerous. I think that was the one with what's his name? The late John Candy. Yeah. And that one, he played a judge. That was in 1986. And according to the information background here, he was in the TV series, the reboot of Mike Hammer Private Eye in 1998. He played Judge Restivo in that, but he played it with his full name, Stacy Keach Sr. So rest in peace, Stacy Keach. And and later, before we get to our next episode, I'll check to see if Stacy Keach Jr. is still alive, his son. So we'll take a look at that. All right, let's take a look at Pitt Herbert. Okay, Pitt Herbert passed away in 1989 as an actor, and he was born on September 25th, 1914, in New York City, New York. And he was known for The Search for the Evil One in 1967. He did appear in Lost in Space in 1965 series, and he was in Dear Brigitte in 1965. He was married to Helen Emily Truesdell, and he died on June 23rd, 1989, in Edmonds, Washington State. He was 74 years old. Okay. All right. In The Search for the Evil One, he played Uncle Adolfo himself in 1967. In Lost in Space series, he appeared as Grover in season 3, episode 2, called Visit to a Hostile Planet. Wow, cool. All right. In Dear Brigitte, he played the bank manager. That came out in 1965. And of course, he played Standish in this one episode of Get Smart. The last thing that he was known for working on was Mr. Brennan. That was his character in Mama's Family, which came from Carol Burnett's original thing. And in that episode, he was in season 1, episode 7, Mama Gets a Job. Cool. All right, so that was his last working credit. Pitt Herbert. All right. Okay, and then we'll look here at Bernie Cobell. All right, so Bernie Capel is still alive. That is awesome. He's an actor, writer, and he's worked on soundtrack before. In 2021, he was in the movie Our Almost Completely True Story. He was born June 21st, 1933. And so he just had a birthday, which means he is the ripe old age of 92. Very cool. Genial character comedian Bernie Kopell is undoubtedly best known as Dr. Adam Bricker, doling out sage advice on TV's The Love Boat in 1977 for its entire run of 10 seasons and 250 episodes. He once described the experience as a paid vacation. We got to be in 98 countries. While this may have been his longest engagement on a series, his most memorable comic creation remains the iconic Siegfried in the Get Smart series. And as we said, he came back in 2008 as a Opel driver in the Get Smart movie. You know, the reboot, which featured Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway. And like we said, from 1977 to 1987, he was he played actually two different characters besides Dr. Adam Bricker. He also played a guy named Kurt Kleinschmidt, and 250 episodes there. All right. In the TV movie Get Smart Again, he came back as Conrad Siegfried. And he also played another role, Professor Helmut Schmelding. And that was in 1989. And then, like I said, he was in 14 episodes of the original Get Smart. And let's just take a look at when his last appearance was as Siegfried. Okay. In season 5, episode 13, he was in Ice Station Siegfried as Siegfried. So that was his last appearance in the Get Smart series. Very cool. Currently, about 3 years ago in 2022, the last TV or movie appearance, he was in a TV series called The Lincoln Lawyer. And in that, he played Marvin Biederman for one episode. And that was from season 1, the very beginning. He Rides Again. Marvin Beedleman. Beedleman. Okay. I know I'll get it right one of these days. Okay. All right. And Stacy Keach, let's see if the senior is still alive. We'll take a look at him here. There's Stacy. Alrighty. Yes. Stacy Keach Jr., his son, is still alive. Lately, he was in Survival Skills from 2020. So he has just turned 84 years old. Very cool. Yeah. I just want to make sure he was alive. But he's an actor, producer, and director. That is cool. Alrighty. So, all right, let's go. All right, so let's go to the next episode here. Episode 4, which is called The Only Way to Die. And before we do, let's get to our chat, where Gorilla has said I'm delusional. He thinks everybody else is. And he says, Gorilla says time zones are a product. Okay, that's a T. Should be a T, not a K. But hey, spell checker feature here. Of the New World Order to control us. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that too, Gorilla. Alrighty. And welcome, Jeff B. Jeff B says, Hail, Mikey, Roger Blair, and Gorilla. And Roger Blair says, howdy to Jeff. Welcome, gentlemen. I'm so glad to see all of you here. And we got 4 likes. Thank you so much. That's wonderful, guys. That's wonderful. Yeah. Hope you're having fun there in South Dakota there, friend Gorilla. Okay. All right. So in this episode, like I said, Max is listed as dead so he can complete a mission. Director is Bruce Bilson again. This time, Arnie Sultan, who did a lot of episodes writing for the series, was also working with Mel Brooks and Buck Henry on this episode. Okay. All right. And let's see. Okay. Yeah, we already took a look at David Ketchum, who plays Agent 13. But we are looking at Gordon Jump, who just recently, remember, we lost Lonnie Anderson, who passed away a couple days short of her 80th birthday. She was the receptionist on WKRP in Cincinnati. Well, Gordon Jump played the boss of WKRP in Cincinnati. Of course, he died. We'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, so in this one, he plays Hobson. And then Harry Bosch, who plays Stromberg. Those will be the two we'll take a look at today for their mini bios. Okay, so let's take a look at the trivia for this episode. All right, and this is the first appearance of Agent 13. Yeah, Robert Carvelis. So, oh, what the heck, we'll do him too. All right, and the title came from the phrase, "It's the only way to fly," from a 1950s Western Airlines advertising campaign. Oh, very cool. All right. And we do have a couple of factual errors, a couple goofs here. Max bluffs Carioca that his yacht is surrounded by the U.S. 7th Fleet before suggesting the 6th Fleet instead. The 7th Fleet has always been part of the Pacific Fleet, while the 6th Fleet has always been stationed in the Mediterranean. Neither of them could surround a ship in Washington, D.C. While fighting Carioca, Max claims the U.S. Navy has the ship surrounded. The Navy is prohibited from police activities, something that should be well known to a naval reserve officer like Maxwell Smart. Instead, the Coast Guard, which is both military and law enforcement, should have been involved. That's true. Okay. Yeah, I used to be in the Navy, so yeah, I knew the protocol for that. That's pretty cool. Okay. And of course, let's see here. Yep. Filming and production still done at Paramount Studios. Okay. Cool. All right. So let's see. So let's go ahead. First, let's go ahead and get Agent 13. I'm sorry, David Ketchum, who plays Agent 13. Let's go ahead and get him out of here first. All right. According to IMDb background information, David Ketchum is still alive. That's so cool. Uh, he was in I'm Dickens, He's Finster. That was a series from 1962 to 1963. He's an actor, a writer. He works on additional crew, and he was born February 4th, 1928. So he is 97 years old. Wow, very cool. Fans of the cult sitcom Get Smart will remember David Ketchum as the unfortunate Agent 13, whose lot it was to be wedged into tiny spaces like airport lockers, vending machines, fire hydrants, and mailboxes. Ketchum may have been used to these tight spots, though, since he was repeatedly born in an elevator. However, in his own words, the hardest part for me was when they put Agent 13 in a washing machine. I'm 6'2", so I can't fit easily into cramped places, and a washing machine is about as cramped as it can get. Wow, that's so cool. Okay, so he appeared as Agent 13 13 episodes of the Get Smart series. His very last appearance was in season 3, episode 1, The Spy Who Met Himself as Agent 13. That was his last appearance in that. He did appear in the MASH TV series as a writer. He wrote for an episode. He wrote season 1, episode 15, called Tuttle. He wrote that episode. That is so cool. In the Bionic Woman TV series, he wrote an episode in 1978, and that was season 3, episode 20, called Long Live the King. So that was written by him. That is so cool. And then last but not least, in the TV series Who's Watching the Kids from 1978, he was a writer on 2 episodes. One was season 1, episode 4, The Hostage, and then the other one was Love Finds Bert Gunkel. Gunkel. Okay. That was episode 5. So he wrote episode 4, and episode 5 was season 1 from that series. Cool. All right, and the last thing, according to the information he worked on back in 1999, was a movie called The Other Sister, where he plays a college maintenance man number 2. That's so cool. Yeah. Oh, and then he did appear as Agent 13 in the reboot series of Get Smart with Andy Dick in 1995. He was in season 1, episode 3, Goodbye, Miss Chip, and he was Agent 13 in that. So, yeah, very cool. Oh, yeah, he also was in Get Smart Again TV movie in 1989. So he stayed with the Get Smart uh, series and the franchise along with Bernie Coppell. That is so cool. Yeah, I like that. All right, so that's David Ketchum, 97 years old. The man's still breathing. That is awesome. Yeah, when we lose him, we'll definitely miss Agent 13 when he's gone. All right, so let's look at Harry Bosch. It's spelled Basch. He played Stromberg. Okay, we did lose him in 2020. He was an actor and a writer. He was born January 16th, 1926 in Trenton, New Jersey, and he's known for Star Trek. So I'll let you know what episode he did for that, for the TOS series. Uh, he was in That Girl in 1966, and Coma. He was in the movie Coma in 1978. He was married to Shirley Slater. He died on June 23rd, 2020, in Los Angeles. He was 94 years old. So we just lost him 5 years ago, probably to that dreaded disease worldwide. Okay. In season 1 episode of What Are Little Girls Made Of, that one that featured the big Ted Cassidy as Ruck, Roger Corby, who was an android, things like that. He was Brown in that one. He appeared as one of the assistants. In That Girl, he did 3 episodes. He was in season 4, episode 4, Nobody Here But Us Chickens, where he played a driver. He was in Shake Hands and Come Out of Acting, and in season 5, he appeared as a man in an elevator and Rattle of a Single Girl. That was season 5, episode 5. Okay, in the movie Coma, he was a second doctor in that movie in 1978. And then he did 12 episodes from 1982 to 1984, where he played Vince Caproni, and he was in the Falcon Crest TV series of that. Okay. And the last thing I see him either as an actor or a writer, he was in a TV movie called In Self Defense in 1987. I'm guessing he either wrote for that one because I don't see a act or a character name in it. So, yeah, cool. Alrighty, so that is him. And last but not least, we'll talk about Gordon Jump here. Okay, Gordon Jump, we did lose him in 2003. Actor, director, and producer. He was in the movie Making the Grade in 1984 with Judd Nelson. He was born April 1st, 1932. He died on my birthday, September 22nd, 2003, at the age of 71. Oh, that's a shame. The burly character actor Gordon Jump will probably be best remembered for the role of the radio station manager Arthur Carlson in the TV sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati from 78. This is coincidental since in the first part of his working life, he was found either behind a microphone or camera in stints with radio and TV stations in the Midwest, including producing jobs at stations in Kansas and Ohio. He died of pulmonary fibrosis leading to heart and respiratory failure. His full name was Alexander Gordon Jump. His nickname was the Big Guy. He was 5'11". He was born in Dayton, Ohio, and he died in Los Angeles on my birthday. Yeah, that's a shame. All right. And In the WKRP in Cincinnati series from 1978 to 1982, he played Arthur Carlson for 90 episodes. In the TV series Soap, which featured early Billy Crystal, he was the chief of police Tinkler in that. From 1977 to 1978, he was in 12 episodes of that. In 1972, he appeared in the movie Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. He played an auctioneer in that film. And in Get Smart, he was actually in 4 different episodes. In this one, like I said, he was Hobson. He reappeared as Hobson in season 2, episode 6 of of the next episode we'll be doing next week, which is Casablanca. Season 2, episode 10, he was uncredited as Agent 51 and the greatest spy on Earth. And then in season 3, episode 5, he was the man in the cab in Maxwell Smart Private Eye. Very cool. Yeah, so he was in 4 episodes of that.
5 years.
Okay. And in 2004, he was in a movie short. He played the character of Earl in Changing of the Guard. That's very cool.
That's what your 5th driving offense. It was his best friend.
Suzanne's with her friend Scotty talking. Yeah, like I said, we heard some news about her knees, and she has to go in August 22nd for that. So, okay. All right, so let's get to the chat, and then we will get to the A team. So let's see here. We got.
How you been?
Okay, well, we got some great stuff in here. All right, so after Jeff B said, "Hail, Mikey, Roger, Blair, and Gorilla," Roger Blair said, "Howdy, Jeff." Gorilla said, "Hey, Jeff." Roger, oh, he retracted the message. Okay. Booger said, "Hey, I made it 2 days in a row. Welcome, Booger414. And welcome also to your wonderful wife, Christine. Thank you both for being here today." Jeff B says, "Hi, Booger." And Brad Wolf didn't really say anything except the comma mark. But he says, "Hi, Mikey. Welcome, Brad Wolf 07. He says, "Ignore that previous message. Fat fingered my hello." I see. Jeff B says, "Hi, Brad." Brad says, "Hi" to Jeff. Jeff B says, "Yeah, fat fingers are a thing, Brad. I know the feeling." Booger says, "I thought if you met yourself, it caused problems for the time stream." Yeah, it definitely does. Something about matter, antimatter, big explosion, Earth, world, universe destroyed, everything. Yeah. Brad says, "Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it." Gorilla says, "Hey to Brad. Hey." Gorilla says, "Hey, Booger." Booger says, "Hi, Brad and Gorilla." Brad says, "Hi, Booger." I love this when you guys also say hello. Gorilla loves it too. Booger says, "Bernie Coppell appeared as Siegfried in a deleted scene in one of the Austin Powers movies." Wow, I didn't even know that. Wow, that's so cool. Thank you, Booger. Booger says, "Hi, Jeff. Sorry I missed you before." Jeff says, "Oh, no worries, Booger." Gordon Jump was also the Maytag Department repairman. Yes, he was. Good call, Booger. Yep, for a number of years, yeah. And of course, the people of our generation, he was the sinister bicycle repairman on Different Strokes. Yeah, that controversial episode, what he did to Arnold, and yes. So, yes, that was him. Yeah. Toby says, 4 days till Disney. Welcome, Toby. Welcome. Jeffy says, "Yep, good for Suze. Hope everything goes well." I hope so too, Jeff. Jeff says, "Hail to Toby." And of course, Brad says, "Hello, Toby." Oh, that's awesome, guys. That is awesome. Thank you so much for welcoming everybody. Oh, look at you guys. Look at that. 8 likes already. Oh my gosh. You guys are, oh, man, you make me emotional. Really do. Thank you so much. That means a lot. That's awesome. Yeah, Toby says, "Thank you, brother." And hey, everyone. That's awesome, Toby. Yeah. So Toby is participating currently in the 70th anniversary of Walt Disney. So, of Disney World, Disneyland, well, Disneyland mostly. Yeah. So if you go to Toby's channel, Toby, post your link in the chat, please. You can do that. Post your link on YouTube so people can go and catch your videos there at Disneyland. Yeah, please do that, brother. That would be great. Ah, Toby says make that 9. Oh, sweet. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, Booger says I was in Disney in March. Yeah, have fun, Toby. Yeah, that's cool. Toby has posted Toby's his link to his channel there on YouTube. So please, when you get a chance, guys, go over there. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe and make sure you check out his content there. It's really cool. Yeah, and again, don't forget, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We have 281 wonderful family subscriber members. We're only 19 away from 300. That's our next goal. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, share this with your friends and family and acquaintances, and of course, don't forget when you subscribe, make sure you hit that all notifications bell. You know, this thing right here. You hit that bell and you make sure that you are attached to all webcams, podcasts, live streams, everything that involves the channel. So make sure you do that. That would be cool. And yeah, Toby is going into California, Booger. Yeah, Disneyland. Yeah, California, Florida. Right, I was in Florida. Yep, Toby's in California. Okay, so Brad says, I got to go, Mikey. I'm happy I was able to catch some of your stream. Good day, everyone. Thank you, Brad. Brad was the only person who believed in me when I had a really difficult time with some trivia people. He was the only one who believed in me, that I never cheated. So thank you, Brad. You are an awesome brother. Really love you, brother. Take care of yourself. Toby says, I got 3 Disney streams planned. That is awesome, Toby. I am looking forward to seeing them. Yeah. Booger414 says, we went down for Mardi Gras in Universal, and then we went over to Disney while we were there. That's awesome, guys. I'm glad you had a good time. Yeah. Toby says, I always go to the one in California. And everything the bell rings, a creator gets monetized. Every time the bell... Is that what you're saying? Every time, but okay. So Booger says, every time the bell rings, a creator gets monetized. That is so awesome. Wow. That is great. Okay. All right. So let's okay, so while we're here, yeah, so let's talk about the next 2 episodes for next week, next Tuesday on Get Smart. Yeah, but you can't do that if she's tugging with the mouse, babe. Oh yeah, torn apart. Yeah, good thing. Well, that means that thing won't be running around anymore. Okay, so folks, next week, season 2, we've got Maxwell Smart, alias Jimmy Ballantyne. That is going to be episode 5, and then episode 6 is, like I said, Casablanca. That is going to be cool. All right. All right, so we got through the first part of our doubleheader. Very cool. All right, now we'll take a look at the A team. Yeah.
And I couldn't take him home, so I left him at Metro, and I called up the Wildlife Foundation.
Now, the thing about A-Team, the series, is that they were nominated for 3 Primetime Emmy Awards, but they never won them, which I never understood. And I think it was a big travesty for not at least giving one or any of the 4 gentlemen that played the A-Team an Emmy. They never did. So, I don't know. I think they did get an Emmy or one or 2 somewhere. I'm pretty sure they did.
Was that Colonel Sanders' chicken?
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look here at season 4. Their episodes are episode 19 and episode 20. All right.
Oh, good Lord. No thanks.
Okay. Episode 19 was called Beneath the Surface. And Face goes back to the orphanage he grew up at and runs into General Fulbright, played by Jack Gang. They escape, but his old friend from there has been kidnapped because he has apparently found a sunken treasure ship somewhere off the coast. This was rated a 6.8 out of 10, 291 people. This came out on Tuesday, March 4th, 1986. So, yeah, I gave it a C. It's not a very good episode. Then episode 20 is Mission of Peace, and that came out Tuesday, March 11th, 1986. And that also got a 6.8 out of 10. 274 people watched it. So, yeah, I gave this a C. But I gave Mission of Peace a C+. It's actually slightly better than Beneath the Surface. So, yeah. In this one, the A-Team is hired by a group of old age pensioners who run a Wild West attraction known as Mission de la Paz. And a land developer named Ashton is trying to drive them off the land. Murdoch takes on the guise of Daniel David Bowie Boone, the Pathfinder. Meanwhile, Faceman finds he has competition from resident conman Rudy. Cool. All right, so let's take a look at Beneath the Surface first. And the director of this episode was Michael O'Herlihy, and not only written by Frank Lupo and Stephen J. Cannell, but Danny Lee Cole helped out. And of course, he had the regular cast of characters: George Peppard as Hannibal Smith, Dirk Benedict as Faceman Peck, Dwight Schultz as Howling Murdoch. You mean me? No, Murdoch. No, not you. But thank you for attending, Murdoch. I know you guys haven't seen Murdoch in a while. And Mr. T as B.A. Baracus, also known as Bad Attitude. Yeah, I love saying that. Okay. All right. So before we get started, that's so cool, Booger, that you said that. All right, before we get started, let's quote John Ashley, the narrator. Of course, he passed away. Rest in peace. But a while ago. But he was in the Beach Blanket Bingo movies, with Annette Funicello. But I know it's Funicello, but I just like saying Funicello. And then there's, Frankie Avalon. Yeah. So, he was a young man back then. He was in those kind of movies. He also appeared in a few Elvis ones, too. Very cool. Yeah, John Ashley. Okay. In 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the LA Underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. Now, if you have a problem, and if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team. Boom! Dun, 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 dun. I love doing that. Okay, so let's get to the first episode here. And in this episode, we're going to take a look at Paxton Whitehead, who plays Morgan, and we'll look at the female lead in this episode, Kim Johnston Ulrich, who plays Elaine, but she came in there as Kim Ulrich, so that's cool. Yeah, so we'll take a look at those two persons. All right, so let's look here at trivia. Okay. And the voice of the parrot was done by Stephen L. Sears, a staff writer for another Stephen J. Cannell series called Riptide, where he had already done the same voice for a parrot on that show. Sears later became a staff writer on the A-Team as well. The parking violation ticket that Murdoch removes from the notebook of the meter maid carries the date March 4th, 1986 at 3:45 p.m. This was the original date of the broadcast. In the final chase on the pier, Rebecca Piper is seen riding in General Fulbright's car. A civilian never would be allowed to ride in a military car unless they were a prisoner. When Murdoch comes up from diving with the cross in his hand, the cross is sparkling clean, which wouldn't be the case if it had been sitting underwater for many decades. That's so cool. All right, let's look at the goofs. Okay. First, we have continuity goof. The characters at the orphanage all know Face by the name Templeton Peck. However, the episode Mind Games established that he didn't change his name to Templeton Peck until later in life. Those who knew him as a child or teenager would more likely have known him by his original name, which that previous episode established was Alvin Brenner. That's a trivia question, too. BA's van is seen with no less than 3 different license plate numbers. When Murdoch makes the dive for the shipwreck, the scuba rig is a dual tank setup, but some underwater shots show a single tank one. Deborah is shown handing Face the same tag, or the name tag, only for the next scene his Face is already wearing it and not even receiving it from her. Then there's a couple of reviewing mistakes. As General Fulbright's squad car goes off the pier, you can see from under the car and then from the open hood on top, there's no motor in the car. The gold cross is supposedly worth $500,000. Now, if so, that would be the equivalent of 3 gold bars and weigh more than 75 pounds. But everybody around carries it like it's much lighter. Okay. When the van arrives at the orphanage, driven by BA, one can tell it is not Mr. T who is the driver. In fact, it's a double, wearing the worst fake beard imaginable. Okay, and then there's a miscellaneous goof. It would make no sense for any military or police officer in any pursuit not to know where he was going, let alone head straight into the water. And there's crew or equipment visible. The MP car has the hood cover covering the windshield. This would have been done to cover the stuntmen. And finally, a character error. General Fulbright wears some kind of a scarf in this. No general would do this, as it would make him out of uniform and subject to disciplinary action. Cool. Alrighty. And in this episode, they do perform 2 original songs. Inagata Davida, which was written by Doug Engel, who recently died. That was performed by Iron Butterfly. And We Gotta Get Out of This Place, which was written by Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil, which was performed by Eric Burden and the Animals. So there were 2 original songs in this episode. That's so cool. Alrighty. Okay, so in this one, we'll look at, like I said, we'll look at Paxton Whitehead. We already looked at Jack Gang, who we knew was going to play General Harlan Bull Fulbright, who was the last person to chase after the A-Team. The very last one before we got, Robert Vaughn later on as General Stockwell, who recruited them. But we'll look at Paxton here. Okay, Paxton Whitehead did pass away in 2023. He was in the movie Kate and Leopold in 2001, and that one had Meg Ryan in it and Hugh Jackman. That was a very good movie. He was born on October 17th, 1937 in Kent, England. He trained at London's Webber Douglas Academy of Dramatic Arts starting at the age of 17. After attending the academy for 2 years, he went to work in stock companies, starting with the Weekly Rep. That was small touring companies that rehearsed and performed a new play each week. He made his professional debut in 1956, and within 2 years was signed by the Royal Shakespearean Company. He was born October 17, 1937. He died June 16, 2023, at the age of 85. So he had a good life. Okay. In the movie with Rodney Dangerfield, Back to School, he played Philip Barbet. That was in 1986. In 1987, in the movie Baby Boom, he was the center instructor. Then in Kate and Leopold, as I said, the one that featured Hugh Jackman and Meg Ryan, a great love story, and Sting, who did the soundtrack, my favorite singer of all time, Uncle Millard in 2001. And then he did appear in one episode of Magnum P.I., where he played William Trubshaw. And that was in season 3, episode 7, called foiled again in 1982. So, very cool. The last thing he worked in was The Importance of Being Earnest in 2011. In that TV movie, he played Reverend Canon uh, Chaz. Can't read it. Oh, Chaz Subble. Okay, cool. Reverend Chaz. Or Reverend Canon. Whatever you want to call him. Okay, so that was Paxton. Okay, now we'll take a look at the next one here. Alrighty. Yeah, we'll look at Kim Johnston Ulrich, who plays Elaine in this episode. Okay, we still have her. She's an actress. She also works on soundtrack. She worked in the movie Rumpelstiltskin in 1995. She was born March 24th, 1955 in Ripon. That's Ripon, California. So she just had a birthday. She just turned the ripe old age of 70. Oh, she still looks pretty good. She's an actress known for Passions in 1999, The Charmings in 1987, and she was in the series Supernatural in 2005. She has been married to Robert J. Ulrich since January 3rd, 1981, and they have 2 children. That is cool. All right. In Passions, which is a soap opera, she played Ivy Winthrop, and then she got married in the series, so she became Ivy Winthrop Crane. And from 1999 to 2008, she was in 744 episodes. Very cool. In Supernatural, she played Dr. Eleanor Viziak in that TV series, and she was in 3 episodes, all from season 6. Episode 12 was called Like a Virgin. Episode 21 was called Let It Bleed, and episode 22 was called The Man Who Knew Too Much, all in 2011. And then in The Charmings, she played Cinderella in episode 5, season 2, Cindy's Back in Town. Okay, in The Charmings. And that was that in the TV series. And then, like I said, in the movie Rumpelstiltskin, she plays the role of Shelley Stewart in 1995. Okay, the last thing she worked on was a TV series called All Rise. She plays Alina Quinn in that series. That came from 2 years ago, 2023. One episode, she did back-to-back episodes from season 3. One is called Come Hell or High Water. That's episode 19. And episode 20 is called Sometimes Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. Very cool. As Alina Quinn. So that is our lady actress, Kim Johnston Ulrich. Very cool. All right, now we'll go ahead and take a look at the next episode. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that one is Mission of Peace. All right, and first of all, let's see what we're doing here in the chat. Okay. And Booger just said, we have been watching Riptide episodes on the weekends. That is awesome. Oh, and hello, Daniel. Daniel's Hot Topics here in the chat. Welcome, Daniel. Daniel, make sure you hit that like button so we can get 10. And then we can go hashtag 10 like hype. That would be great. Thank you. Hello, Mikey. And he says, my second worker is coming to get me. Awesome. Awesome, Daniel. We've been praying for you, buddy. Yes. So that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know, my friend. Jeff B says, hi, Daniel. And he says, my second worker, Jenny, is so awesome. Well, you know what? She sounds awesome. I think you definitely should stay in touch with her through your crisis right now. Yeah. Daniel says, hello, Jeff B. Yeah. Very cool, Daniel. That's great news to hear, my friend. Okay. So let's get to our last episode here for today. Our last review, Mission of Peace from the A-Team. Now, this was directed by Craig R. Baxley, who, as you know, is also a big stunt supervisor for the show. And Stephen L. Sears, as I said, wrote this episode along with Lupo and Kennel and the usual cast of characters. Okay, we're going to look at David White. Now, David White, you remember, played, you know, Darren's boss, you know, Tate on, you know, on the Bewitched series. In this episode, he plays Rudy. And then we have Ann Doran, who plays Nora. And we'll also look at Nidra Voltz, who plays Babette. Yeah. So we'll look at three of them for this last episode. Because Nidra Voltz is a very nice old lady and great actress. And, of course, she's gone. So, yeah. So we'll take a look at those three. All right, cool. All right, let's look at trivia here. Okay. And there's just 3 bits of trivia for this episode. All right, so the modified lie detector used to test the customer's credibility has artwork from the video game Mario Brothers. Oh, that's cool. And it must have been a cold day when the dedication ceremony was filmed, since steam is emitting from the MC's mouth. And Ashton's Grand Prix is later seen in the season 4 finale, A Little Town with an Accent. Oh, that's cool. All right, now we'll look at goofs. Okay. In continuity, when the mission is dedicated, the ribbon is out, or is cut. As the A-Team walks past, the ribbon is whole again. There's a revealing mistake. The crate that Hannibal locks Fulbright and his men in isn't anywhere near large enough to hold all 5 of them. And in a character error, General Fulbright doesn't recognize Murdoch when he releases the general and his men from the crate. Wow. Interesting. Okay. So let's take a look here. Let's see. Okay, we don't have any soundtracks this time. Okay. But we do have Western Town, temporary facade built for the Mission de la Paz. It was done at the Paramount Ranch, located in Agora, California. That's spelled Agoura. And that was on 2813 Cornell Road there. So that's where they made the Mission de la Paz outdoors. Very cool. Alrighty. Now let's take a look at the cast and crew we are going to examine today. No, I don't want to see you Jurassic World Rebirth, but it's a good movie. Okay. Let's see. All right, so David White. Right. Actor director who died in 1990, and he was born April 4th, 1916, and died November 27th of 1990. He was 74 years old. He was an American stage actor who appeared frequently on television and occasionally, but impressively, in films. He was a Marine Corps veteran. So, thank you for your service, David, of the Second World War. He worked on Broadway and on tour in stage productions after the war. In the late 1950s, he became an increasingly familiar face on American television, following a strong performance in the film Sweet Smell of Success in 1957. Okay, like I said, he was Larry Tate in the TV series Bewitched. From 1964 to 1972, he did 191 episodes of that great series. He played Darren's boss for both Dick York and for Dick Sargent. That played Darren. The Apartment, he was in that movie in 1960, where he plays Mr. Eichelberger. In Brewster's Millions, which featured a late, that black comedian that also appeared in movies with Gene Wilder. Oh, that's terrible. If I can't even remember that. Yeah, but in that one, George Granville was his character in 1985. Now, he also appeared in 2 episodes of the original Twilight Zone. So, PvP, you're going to like this if you rewatch this. So, in season 1, episode 23, he plays Brinkley in a episode called A World of Difference. Oh, and by the way, Brewster's Millions, Richard Pryor. He was in the Richard Pryor movie, Brewster's Millions. And then season 3, episode 35, he was George Rogers in the episode called I Sing the Body Electric, and that was from 1962. And the first one was 1960, A World of Difference. So very cool. And according to the information here, the last thing he worked on was a movie short called Mergers and Acquisitions. He played chairman of the board in that movie short. That was from 1989. So that is David White. Rest in peace, Marine veteran. And Larry Tate, that we all knew him by. Okay, so we'll look at Ann Doran. Ann Doran, unfortunately, we did lose her in the year 2000. Not only an actress, but she also worked in additional crew and on soundtrack. She was in the TV series Longstreet from 1971 to 1972. Uh, she appeared in over 500 motion pictures and 1,000 television shows by one count. Starting at the age of 4, she appeared in hundreds of silent films under assumed names so her father's family wouldn't find out. Rarely a featured player, although she was in Charles Starrett's Rio Grande in 1938, is a notable exception. She provided many a wonderful performance in support of the leads. Yeah. So she was born July 28th, 1911. She died September 19th, 2000 at the age of 89. So a good life for her. She did appear with James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause. She played Carol Stark in 1955. In You Can't Take It With You, she played Maggie O'Neill in 1938. In 1939, she was in The Man They Could Not Hang as Betty Crawford. And in 1958, she was in It, the Terror from Beyond Space, where she plays Mary Royce. That's so cool. The last thing she worked on was one episode back in 1988 of the rebooted Hunter, where she played Mrs. Rawling. And that was in an episode from season 5, episode 3, called Dead on Target, part 1. Cool. All right, so that is the wonderful and the enduring Ann Doran. Right. And last but not least, to end our information today, we are going to look at Nedra Voles, who plays Babette. Okay. She was an actress and worked on soundtrack. She died in 2003. An apple dumpling of a darling character actress, Nedra Voles had one of those slightly vacant, twinkly-eyed faces absolutely designed for light sitcoms and commercial work. And she was in Where's the Beef? Yeah. Although she didn't come into her own, the Wendy's commercial. She didn't come into her own until past retirement age. She enjoyed a solid 2 decades ride, delightfully amusing audiences all over. She was born June 18th, 1908, and died at the ripe old age of 94 in January 20th, 2003. So, very good life for Nedra. All right. So, in Filthy Rich, a TV series, she was in 15 episodes. In that, in 1982 to 83, she played Winona, who was the mother, Mother B. Beck. So, Winona, Mother B. Beck. In The Dukes of Hazzard, she appeared in 11 episodes. She did numerous characters in that series from 1980 to 1984. And I will look on Dukes of Hazzard here for the last episode she worked on. That was season 7, episode 12, Sky Bandits Over Hazard, in 1984, where she played Ms. Tisdale. Very cool. She did appear in the Jeff Goldblum movie Earth Girls Are Easy. In 1988, she played Lana. And in a movie called Moving Violations, she played Mrs. Loretta Hauk in 1985. And finally, the last thing she worked on back in 1996 was Old Lady in the movie called The Great White Hype. Cool. So that is the career of Nedra Voles. Very cool. Mission of Peace. There you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and mention the next 2 episodes we've got for next Tuesday. The next one is called The Trouble with Harry, and that's episode 21. of season 4. And then episode 22 is a little town with an accent. And that is for next week. Very cool. Alrighty. And we're all set there. Okay. Yeah. And Jim's camera at dawn. Welcome. He says, Larry Tate. Yes, sir. Greetings, everyone, from Jim. Jeff B says, hi, Jim. Yeah. Daniel, I heard about that. The Walking Dead star. Yes. Kelly Mack died at age 33. Yeah, way too young, Jeff B. Yeah. That's very sad. Yeah. And hello, Plane Down Under. He says, good day, all. Hi, Plane. How's it going? Good to see you. And Daniel's Hot Topics. He said Brad Pitt's mother, Jane Etta Pitt, dies age 84. Brad Pitt's mother, Jane, dies age 84. Metro News. Oh, no. Brad Pitt's mom died, honey. 84 years of age.
Pardon me?
Brad Pitt's mom died. 84 years of age.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and Kelly Mack, who was in Walking Dead, 33 years old, dead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Couple deads.
She was sick.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt's mom died.
Yeah. And Daniel's posted the Metro News information there. Thank you, Daniel. Jeff B says, hi, Playing Down Under. Kage. Hi, Kage. Kage Nocturne Gaming. He says, hello. Playing Down Under says, thumbs up to Jeff. Daniel says, Wendy's is not that good anymore. It used to be, right. Tastes way back better then in the 90s and early 2000s. Correct, Daniel. But Nidra Voles was in among the three ladies where that one lady, not Nidra, but where the other lady says, where's the beef? Yeah, she was in that. So, yeah, very cool. Jeff B, let's see here. Jeff B says, hi, Kage. Playing Down Under says, hi, Kage. Kage says, hey, Jeff. And Kage says, hey to Playing Down Under. And Daniel says, what the F? No, no, no. Earth goals are not easy. If anything, they're getting harder and harder to get. I read online that more and more guys are leaving women due to unrealistic standards on their P's. Yeah, on their part. Yeah, exactly. Booger says, I remember the Great White Hype. Yep, funny movie with great cast. Yeah, Nidra's last film. Daniel says, more and more guys are getting out of relationships or not even getting into them in the first place. Men are sick of the crap. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I'm trying to get in a relationship. Kage's trying. Gorilla's in one. You know, he just found Kayla. You know, his friend Kayla. You know. So yeah, Daniel, there's still hope for you, brother. Okay, you'll find a woman. Don't worry. They come from the least expected places, there, Daniel. So not all women are crap. No, no, no. No, no, no. They are not. I found Suzanne. Took me a long time to find her. Daniel says, yeah, there was a black guy called Byron Black. He was executed yesterday for the murder, wife, and two daughters. Wow, 1988, when I was a year old. Okay, so there's a link to that too. Yeah. Well, Byron Black, you know, I mean, that's a terrible crime. I'm trying to get out of one. Oh, Playing Down Under says I'm trying to get out of a relationship. Oh my, you guys. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so we have 10 likes. Yay! I can post in the comment 10 like hype. That ancient one always quotes us. So yay! Thank you for that. And we got 6 people still watching. Very cool. Very cool. Alrighty, we are done today, folks. We're done. We finished. Okay. So we're done for the week. As I said, next week, 2 more episodes of Red Dwarf and 2 more episodes of TOS, the original Star Trek. The Red Dwarf is from season 12, the 2 episodes, and season 2 is from TOS. And that is next Monday at 12 noon Eastern. And then we've got 2 more episodes of Get Smart from season 2 next week on Tuesday, and then from season 4 for A-Team on Tuesday as well. And that'll be at 12 noon Eastern, both days, Monday and Tuesday. So that is what we have to look forward to next week. And you guys and gals are awesome for coming here and making my life easier and my wife's wife my wife Suzanne's life easier because you guys and gals, all of you, and the wonderful 200 plus family members, not just subscribers to us, but you all make us feel a lot better when you're here to support us, take care of us, say prayers for us, everything. So means the world. You, all of you, are awesome. You're all totally awesome. And Plain Down Under says jokes, yeah. And Kage says, my neighbor gave me gummies, so I'm having a good morning. I know what you mean by the gummies there, Kage. I do. Mikey, sub the to that Death Row and Execute channel. Oh, okay. An interesting channel link. Yeah, I'll take a look at it, my friend above. Yeah. And Plain says, are you? Are you? That's what Plain That's what Plain is saying. Okay. All right. There you go. Okay. So let's go ahead and say a prayer. And our Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, thank you so much for social media. It's great to have people here that have been here for us today. Everybody in the chat, everybody we know in our MikeySuzeFour channel, all of our wonderful family subscribed members. And we are at 281. As I said, all we need is 19 more, Lord. And I know you can get us those 19 wonderful family members to join this growing community so we can have a nice live stream and to celebrate all 300. And also, please remember, in our prayers, please remember that our friend Jay Aldridge, our brother, and his wonderful girlfriend Renee are going through their tough times. So make sure we keep them in our memories. Also, Jason and his wonderful partner Nikki. Let's make sure we keep them in our memories. Also, everybody here, may you and your families enjoy wonderful lives together without any tragedy or pain. Please remember the victims of all the natural disasters that have been occurring throughout the world. Make sure we pray for their victims' families. Uh, we pray for the soul of Byron, who just, was taken out of this world. We also pray for, uh, my wife Suzanne, who's going to be undergoing her examination soon, and then of course for my brother Larry, his wife Diane, Tyler, and the rest of the family as he goes through his next major surgery on August 23rd. So please, Lord, all of our prayers go out. I know that your Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, his blessed Mother, the most blessed Virgin Mary, the Holy Spirit, who guides us in right and wrong, and of course, our patron saints, Saint Suzanne for Suzanne, and Saint Michael the Archangel, defender of heaven, and who sent the evil one and all the fallen angels to hell, my patron saint. So for all of those, we ask and pray, amen and amen, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. There we go. And Daniel says, when I was in Fergus, and I saw, Fergus, Ontario, okay, and I saw those 4-year-olds playing in the playground, I was like, lucky little kids. They will outlive my enemies. When those kids are in their 20s, Brainy Specs will be in his 70s. Okay, Daniel, I got to give you a warning. Please don't mention those. If those are people you don't like, don't mention them in the chat, okay? I'm giving you one warning on that. I'll have to block you, not block you completely, but I'll have to time you out if you mention one more time. Yeah, please don't do that because we don't want to mention them on this. We don't want to mention our enemies on the channel anymore. They knew who they are. They know who they are. Yeah. And Moira will be in her 60s. Okay, Daniel, please don't do this. Daniel, retract. Okay, retract your other one too, please. I'm only giving you fair warning, my brother. Okay, please don't do that. Playing Down Under says, I like how you pray. Amen. Thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, well, go ahead and take out the other one too because it mentions Brandy. Do that, please. Okay. He is actually, he has a woman named Anna, a couple kids. He's actually pretty happy. So yeah, I don't want, even though he's not a very good person, I don't want you to berate him, please, because we can talk about that in private. Thank you, Daniel. That's appreciated. I appreciate that. Yeah, sorry, I retracted it, but when I did, it takes a lot bit of time. That is fine, but please don't do that ever again. All right, Daniel? I mean it. If you do that again, I have to time you out. All right, I do, because that's not cool. If I start doing that here, I could get later on I could get demonetized. Also, well, I'm not really worried about that, but I am worried about the YouTube overlords coming in and saying I'm a racist guy or I'm mean or whatever. I'm not. I try not to be. So I work on that. Yeah, I got to remember that. Yes, please. Sorry, but I have memory problems. No worries there. No worries there, Daniel. You didn't know for now, okay? But don't do that again, please. That would be appreciated. All right, so like I said, we got 10 likes. We've got 10 like hype, so I can type that in my comment at the end of the show. And I've got 6. Well, we got 5 people still watching, so that's very cool. Alrighty. So, first of all, I do want to thank Daniel's Hot Topics for attending. Thank you so much, Daniel, for being here. I know you're going through a rough time, so we're praying for you, brother. Playing Down Under was here. Thank you, Playing Down Under. Kage Noctum Gaming was also here. So Kage, thank you for attending today. Booger414, along with his wonderful wife Christine. They are cosplayers, so check out their channel occasionally when they go travel. Jeff B, thank you, Jeff B, for being here. Of course, Daniel put in a couple of his link there, so make sure to check out the Metro News link about Brad Pitt's mom. Rest in peace, Jane Etta Pitt. And of course, Kelly Mack. Yeah, way too young. Yeah. All right. And Jim's camera at dawn. Thank you, Jim. And let's see. Toby. Thank you, Toby. Make sure you guys are checking out his channel. He did post his link to his YouTube space there where he's going to be doing some live video there at Disneyland for their 70th anniversary. So make sure you check that out. So that is Toby. And thank you, Brad Wolf07. Brad is awesome. He usually goes and attends the trivia game on Saturday nights, which is known as Jump Nerdy. And so make sure you see him and say hello to him when you run into him if you get a chance. Okay, and Toby Booker, Jeff, Booger. Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Now, Gorilla has a great channel. On Tuesdays, he normally does his Cigar Lounge. On Thursdays, he does 4 episodes of that awesome series, Twilight Zone. And then on Fridays, he does a review of each episode of that cool series, The Waltons. This week, he's doing season 5, episode 6, which is called The Night Walker. Should be a pretty good episode to review this week. All right, so please check out Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Oh, and he does Cinema Sunday on Sundays. He does some great movies. Right now, we're in the middle of Back to the Future. So he's doing Back to the Future 2 this coming Sunday. So, yes, that'll be cool. Alrighty. And, of course, we had our friend Roger Blair in the chat today. Thank you, Roger Blair. He's always a wonderful supporter of our channels, including this one. So thank you, Roger Blair, for being here today. And you were first in the box. So thank you, Roger. Much appreciated. So yes, everybody I mentioned here, I hope I covered everyone. But please make sure that you go to each of their channels and make sure you subscribe and, to each of them, please. Okay. Okay. And Daniel says, so when do you start these streams? I am always late. Daniel, I always plan on setting these up on Mondays and Tuesdays at 12 noon Eastern. So you are on the same time frame as me, sir. So if you can ever make it, 12 noon is when I start them. Yeah. So make sure you come in then. Okay. And Daniel says, sub to that channel. Sub, sub, sub. And he says, inflation is out of control. I had to pay $18 for a meal at Popeyes. And Playing Down Under says, I love you all. Thank you, Playing Down Under. Thank you for being here. Daniel says, at this rate, I'll never get a Grand Theft Auto collection. But Daniel, never mind. Never mind. I told you, don't worry about collections. Don't worry about any of that. Get out of the place where you live, okay? That's all I'm saying to you. I'm not going to say it again, okay? Make sure you do get out of there. You don't need to spend money right now. You need to save money to get out of there, okay? Do that. All right. Playing Down Under says, bye all with a champagne toast. Thank you. Daniel says, I ran into some Christians yesterday. They told me that God hates people. No, God does not hate people. Daniel, don't say that. Who play video games and people who play GTA are going to be destroyed. That is not true. That is not true. Okay? I can tell you that. That is honestly not true. So please don't quote that. Okay? Okay. I'm sorry, Daniel, but I'm going to have to put you in timeout for at least 10 minutes. That's not true. Okay, my friend? Please don't say that. That's not true. All right? Actually, here, I'll just do 30 minutes. But I'm sorry, Daniel. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, just don't say that, Daniel. Okay. All right. So we got 4 people watching. We've got 10 likes. Thank you again so much, everyone. All right. So hopefully I mentioned everybody in the chat. I'm sorry about Daniel's hot topics. That's not really cool what he was saying here in the chat today. So Daniel, you know better. This is your only warning. Please don't do that again. Okay? Please. All right. So because we try to exude kindness here, but kindness does not mean that you have the right, even as a wrench, to, talk badly like that. You can't do that. Please don't do that. Okay. So, as my wife always says, leave everything in God's hands. It's a great piece of advice. As my brother Larry, who's going through his rough times right now, always says, always be yourself. That always means everything. And, of course, I always say, always expect the at MikeySuzeFour. And, of course, finally, there is Gene Siskel, Gene L. Siskel, who was used to be the movie critic reporter for Chicago Tribune, who did pass away, and then later Roger Ebert passed away. So both rest in peace. And of course, he always said at the very end of every Siskel and Ebert at the movies, he always said, "And now the aisle is closed." So I'm very thankful to the family and the foundation for allowing me to do that. Okay, so Jeff B says, be safe and well all. Thank you, Jeff. That means the world to us. Thank you so much. Alrighty, so God bless Canada. God bless England. And hopefully we'll get to see Elisa H., our best friend from England, in September when you come here to Toronto. Can't wait to see you again, our best friend, our good friend from England. And of course, God bless the rest of this world. Remember, we only got one of it. So make sure you guys and girls are taking care of it best you can. And remember the words that I'm saying to you. Don't piss off Mother Nature. Don't want to do that. That is not a good thing. Okay. And last but not least, peace from MikeySuzeFour. So on behalf of myself, my beautiful wife, Suzanne, who was monitoring the chat. Thank you, my beautiful wife. And, of course, our beautiful cats, Moon Pie down here, Deja Vu over there. Want to thank all of you again for supporting us these last 2 days because of the holiday on Monday, for the 4 shows we do. And we'll see you again for the same 4 shows on Monday and Tuesday afternoon at 12 noon. And hello, Christian Carpenter. Christian Carpenter, I hope you get a chance to rewatch this. You came in a little last minute, but it's great to see you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you too, Christian. We have a few seconds. I hope everything's going well for you, Christian. Christian Carpenter, you usually see him on my friend Kevin's show, which is the Trusty Ape. He's one of my best friends and brothers I met online here from the Bay Area, where I used to live, and where I was born at was in San Francisco. So Christian Carpenter's there usually, helps us out. He also once in a while attends our friend Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolf's channel. So thank you so much, Christian, for doing that. You're a wonderful supporter of our channels. Okay. Again, I hope I mentioned everybody in the chat. If I didn't, please forgive me. Let me know in the comments section at the end if I forgot to say someone. But I think I mentioned everybody else. Everybody. And please make sure you subscribe to each of them in the chat. And also make sure that um, whenever you want, please post your link to your YouTube channel in the chat too. You're allowed to do that as a Blue Renchi. Blue Renchi. Yeah. So make sure you do that. Just go and post your link and say, yeah, please come and subscribe. I encourage that. I endorse that. Not many channels would do that for you, but I do because we both do because we endorse that. We encourage it. So yeah, please, when you get a chance, put your link there in the chat so that other people can also click on your channel and subscribe. That would be great. Yeah. Okay. So again, thank you everyone for coming. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Have a wonderful weekend planned for yourselves. I hope everything going well. And we'll see you next week, Monday and Tuesday, for our reviews. So, oh yes, and thank you for all the prayers. Keep them coming. We always can use prayers here at MikeySuzeFour. Right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week. And God bless you all.